Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am sure that more people will join us, but I think that it's time to start now. My name is Marta Fernández Alarcón. I am the Secretary General of the Spanish Business Council, and I want to welcome you to this webinar about buying real estate in Dubai. What do I need to know to be 100% real? Crafted and presented by Maria Rubert from Rubert Partners. They are a very well-known boutique law firm in the UAE, specialized in arbitration and corporate services. So I want to say thank you for your collaboration and support, always very supportive and helpful in our purpose of the Chamber. In today's webinar, we will talk about real estate in Dubai, exploring some questions such as where to buy in Dubai, the costs, the documents, etc. We are aware that this is one of the most actual and popular subjects nowadays in this city and also in all the country in general. So as you may know, in the Spanish Business Council, we try to achieve all our goals with the collaboration of all our members. One of our main purposes from the Chamber is to be an international community and create with all our members an amazing platform to interact between our different stakeholders and to share businesses and best practices. So I don't want to waste time to our speaker, Maria. Let's start. After your words at the end of the webinar, we will explore a Q&A with Maria. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with all of you and with the SBC to speak about an amazing topic in Dubai nowadays. Amazing how much they are building. Amazing how many people are purchasing. And if we look ahead to the goals, it will still continue to increase. As Marta mentioned, my name is Maria Rubert. I've been in the UAE for 15 years. Mainly concentrating in law, but also I'm an arbitrator. So, and this is important because my main area of expertise has been, since the moment I arrived to the UAE, has been real estate. When I arrived in January 2010, most of the projects that had not been completed were completely stopped. Yes? So every single unit that had been sold had an arbitration agreement. So what was happening? Buyers had to sue because they had paid. I remember cases, some clients had bought entire floor units and the percentage of completion was 0. Yes, of course, you must sue. So those contracts, those SPAs at the time had arbitration clauses. So that's what I came to Dubai to initially do, and this is what I could only do for about 2 to 3 years because work was massive. Dubai picked it up rather quickly, and they transferred projects to other developers and things as we are today. But the situation was very interesting back then. So what are the common issues that we usually face as legal practitioners leaving the arbitration on site? Because the arbitration, it's me, the arbitrator. I mean, of course, arbitration will represent clients when there are issues. Imagine I've had cases when the units have been transferred to the owner, and then the size of the unit was 40% less than contractually agreed. Also, units that were supposed to have an infinity pool, but then the pool was up. So when you buy a very expensive property, this is an issue, and this may be not what you agreed to buy. And of course, all sorts of delays, delay claims for late delivery of the properties is also a common issue. On the arbitration, on the litigation, I do not intend to get into the litigation today. I want to concentrate on the positive part of real estate, which is We are buying properties and we are enjoying the properties. Yes. So these are the common issues. And of course, we want to buy the properties, we want to enjoy the properties, but we must be careful and we must ensure that we are buying what we want to buy from the person who has title to that property. And this is a common issue right now. There are loads of fraud cases in the UAE, not only in real estate, also we've seen it in commercial transactions, we've seen it in settlement agreements, believe it or not, where parties, even lawyers, have been hacked. Yes. So it's a major issue. So how do we avoid fraud? We've also participated in cases where a property had been rented 11 times. The same property had been rented to 11 people for the same period. There are ways to avoid this. We will concentrate on the buying part, not the rent. Yes. So also a common issue is the contracts. Which contract do I need to sign? Am I signing what I'm supposed to be signing? Is this the regular practice? Or the agent is becoming very creative and I will suffer from his creativity? Also, the timings is usually a factor because we will see that there are penalties for being unable to complete on time. And then we will be talking about what's necessary to prepare for the big day, which the big day is the day of transfer. Yes. So resources, for those of you who have the time and the interest, I do invite you to take a look to a video I made on this topic. Also a publication on the video is on my YouTube channel, Maria YouTube channel, Maria Rubert. The publication is on the Rubert Partners site. And then always the Dubai Land Department site gives so much information we don't know about. Yes, I will be guiding you through some of the parts of the Dubai land. Some people know about the resources, many others do not. I hope I can be of added value to you in that respect today. So Dubai. I like this picture, and I think I use it in most of my webinars and presentations because it's my way to remind myself that that people come from all over the world, come from West, they come from East. Some look for political stability, others look for economic stability, you name it. But people do come from East, West, North, and South to the UAE. Something is being done correctly, and the UAE is pitching on the peace, on the security, and the economic stability of the country. Now, this is Dubai, well, more or less, because it expands by the day. But this is, when we talk about when is it good to buy, I think the question has different answers. If you look for security, usually I've seen, and this is based on experience, on legal experience of my clients, that when you buy, for example, Imar, you tend to be safe. The market can go down, but usually comes back up. Yes. Now, if you are looking for quick in and outs and you are looking for real investments, if you look to Imar today, and on ready-made properties may not be the most suitable because price is very high. It's safe, but is very high. So usually investors that look into big returns on resale, usually they tend to buy off plan on areas that are being developed. All the areas around the Expo, JVC, for example, still looks very good. Those are areas that are still at reasonable prices that would all things staying as they are and the developments as they are, should give a benefit on simply you buy your plan and you resell just when the title deed is ready, and should give a return. Those who are looking for investment in a quick in and out months, or a quick year in and out. Now, many do not look at the numbers. Many just look at quality of life. You know, usually what I've experienced is that as people start having kids, moving with the market, you know, my landlord is kicking me out. Now I want to move because the market is down and I want a cheaper rent, becomes a headache. So many families, they look for quality of life, and they don't necessarily look at it. Of course, they want to buy a good deal, but for them, the area will be more important. And if they live in downtown, that will be important for them. If they live in Marina, that will be important for them, even if the prices are high as they are now. Yes. Now, let's get to the due diligence stage I was telling you about. There are two options. Either you are buying off plan, or you are buying a ready-made property. In any event, you can check. You can do a due diligence. Of course, we are happy to do it for you, and or you can play to be a lawyer, or to play to do this checkup. Anyone can play, you know, to be something. I usually tend to recommend, if it is for you, get someone to do it, because you are too involved. And sometimes you like that house a little bit too much, and you may disregard the red flags. Yes. So that's the reason why I tend to recommend that someone does it for you. Imagine that your wife or your husband is cheating on you. Do you want to follow them? That's an example that I give. No, you want to pay someone to do it, even if in the UAE is not legal. There are no companies for investigation, but in other parts of the world. All right, so I want to guide you, and this is gonna be a little bit of a headache, because when I click on the link, I have to stop share and then share again. Yes, the first figure that you have, this is when we do a due diligence, and this is very simple for off plan. This week, I was inquired about someone who was buying Oceans 3. Do you see Oceans 3 here? No. So for us, that's a red flag. Yeah. But let me click. I'm going to stop share, and then I will share with you the site, because we can I think this is one. Yes. So with this, I'm going to show you all the things that you can do when you buy off plan. Yeah, this is what is. So imagine we go to project number 1. Yes. Well, now it doesn't tell you the status because it's 0. They didn't start yet. But it's interesting to see the developer. It's also interesting to see the escrow account. Why? Because when you buy off plan, you want to be paying to the escrow account. This is the account. An escrow account is the account that receives the funds from buyers, from investors. So it's the account that the land department checks. So they can take money out, the developer, as they build. If you are being asked to pay to any other account, there is some level of risk. So in those cases, we need to take a look at who's asking you for that money. You know, is the developer or is a real estate agent? Some agencies do have an agreement with the developer to commercialize the building. And so in some projects, you will see their details here as well, because they are registered. So if they don't appear here and they are asking you for a payment on an account other than the escrow, there are questions that need to be made and answered. Yes. So that would be a start. Yes, that would be a start. Okay, let me stop share again. and I'm gonna show you what we do for a property that is already in the market. Okay, now you have it here. Yes. So those of you familiar with title deeds, you know that they have a certificate number. Yes. So you will put the certificate number here, the year of the certificate, and the property type. Usually you buy a unit, a property, a flat. You will put a unit here, and then you will click, I'm not a robot. I don't want to put any details here for confidentiality purposes, but if you have the title deed, in the bottom, there is a barcode, and it has a number, hash, a hash, and a year. So that's the certificate number that you must put there, yeah? So it will tell you if it's correct or not. Why? Because I could be the owner of a property, sell it today, show you the title deed, and resell it to you. And these are cases that we handle. Yes, these are cases that we handle all the time. So, so these are the two things that you can do to do a little due diligence. Either you are helped or we can help you. Okay. All right. This is with respect to due diligence. Now, how much is the property worth? Yes. I always recommend clients to do a little research. Everyone looks on Dubiso or Property Finder for properties. Everyone does that. But it's easy, or you can also get help to do it. It's easy to say, okay, I want to buy a 2-bedroom in this area. So it's in good quality, not bad quality, it's good quality. So I'm going to look for 5 or 6 references similar. So you are able to come up with the square footage, the pricing for the square footage. Yes. This is a small business plan. Let's say, let's put it like this. Yes. We always, when we are engaged by clients, we verified. I remember one case, we found the same ad, 400,000 dirhams less. It was a house in the Palm. Yeah, so maybe for someone who buys a house in the Palm, 400,000 is not much, but our clients were very, very happy that I was able to find the house posted by another agent, 400,000 less. So we saved the client 400,000 dirhams on that spot. Yes. Okay. Someone is saying you could stop sharing the screen, log in, and share it again so we can see the platform inside. Maybe, I don't know. Can everyone see the presentation now? Can you see the presentation? Can you see a slide that says value?
Yes.
Okay. I continue then. Sorry. Thank you, Eduardo. All right. Once we've done the due diligence, we have verified that the price is right, then we walk into the agreements. And agreements, there are only 2 official agreements. Now everything is online and through the registered numbers and registered emails. Yes? So why I'm saying this? Because many agents will still share with clients the old form. Before, there were private agreements that were being signed, and then you would prepare everything, the checks, you would go to the land department, and then let's say that the official transfer was done on spot. Now you don't even go to the land department, you go to the trustee offices. Yeah? You need to know that it's a valid one. This is easy to verify, but you go to trustee offices. Why I'm saying this? Because sometimes clients are provided with this private agreement, and they think that that's it. And then they don't give much strength to these forms, to Form B and Form F. Form B is the agreement between the buyer and or the seller and the agent. Yes, here you are pretty much saying, I'm giving the right to this person, the authority to buy, sell my property, and this is the commission that I will be given. Will you give that authority on exclusive basis? Yes or not? Yes, this is something to consider. Now, commission. The practice is 2%, but I won't be able to tell you how many transactions we are revising these days where I see 5, 6, 4% commission for real estate agents. This is not the practice. So unless you really, really like your agent, stick to the practice, 2%, yeah? And you will be able to find an agent that will work that way, as most agents work that way, all right? Now, you have Form B is the first one that you sign, and then you sign Form F. Form F is the only agreement that is valid for the Dubai Land Department, yes? So if you sign another agreement and you really gave thought to that initial agreement, I don't care. This is the agreement. And what this agreement says will not be able to be contradicted by earlier documents, not even post documents, because this is the official document, yes? So in Form F, we've had problems with clients that didn't verify their spelling of their names. This is very important. I mean, you go to that level of detail. Also, it's very important, and we were saying the timings. This is when the timings come in. If there are mortgages, be it because the person selling had a mortgage, or the company selling had a mortgage, or the person buying or the company buying will buy through a mortgage, you want to keep this into account, especially if you are not pre-approved, because this is going to take time. This is going to take time, and I don't know how much you know, but banks are difficult in the UAE nowadays. They learned from earlier crises, people living with all their debt behind, and now they really look into the client's profiles, of course, and the possibility to repay. So you want to look into this in advance. If you don't have the pre-approval, but you are very confident that you will be approved, do not commit to buy in 30 days. You know, commit to buy minimum 60 days for you to have peace of mind. Why? Because we have the famous 10%. Yes, usually when you buy, you will give 10% of the purchase price in advance. Yes. Banks are never going to give you more than 75%. So this 10% you pay in any event. Yes. So if you are unable to transfer by the transfer date that you have agreed to, you will lose this 10%. Now, the same happens to sellers. If sellers are unable to transfer by the transfer date, they will need to give you back the 10% and pay you an additional 10%. Yeah. Now it's very common to insert a clause that says, in the event that delays come because of third parties, there will be an extra extension, etc. Don't go to that limit. Give yourself time. Yeah, put 60 days and you commit to do it as soon as possible, of course. Yes. Now, it's very important when we revise the Form F that we revise, of course, the price and the cost. Believe it or not, we've had issues with people who didn't verify properly the price and the cost involved. Now, so how much does it cost to transfer? Yeah, usually, and in the old days, the sellers will pay 2% on the purchase price, and buyer will pay 2%. In reality, buyers are fully covering this 4%. Yes. So when you buy a property that costs you 2 million, yeah, very good purchase in Dubai nowadays, you will need to apply a 4% on that, which is 2 million times 4, 80,000, right? You will be paying as transfer fee to the Dubai Land Department. Now, I'm saying that nowadays you don't sign anymore in the Dubai Land. Why? Because they are too busy. It would be impossible that all transactions do take place in the Dubai Land Department. So they came up a few years already with one thing that is called the trustee office. So to the trustee office, you will need to pay, in the case of the 2 million, you will pay 4,000. In the case that you buy a property, let's say you buy a studio for 350, then you will pay 2,000 to the trustee office only. Yeah. So the limit for the 2,000 or 4,000 is the 500,000 value of the property. And then I list here a very small costs for title deed issuance, land map fees, for Unified Map with Dubai Municipality, 250 for villas and units map issuance fees, and then knowledge and innovation fees that now you pay everywhere. Now, what do you want to prepare if you are an individual? Let's say you are going to buy as an individual. You will need your Emirates ID and passport. If you are selling as an individual, you would need an NOC. What is an NOC? It's a non-objection certificate from the developer, which says that you are up to date with your payments, with the service charges. If someone is trying to sell you a property and he doesn't get the NOCs because he owes money to the developer, so they will not allow him to sell. Yes. Sometimes we've come some cases whereby the seller is asking the buyer to advance these funds. We do not recommend these actions because you need to document. It's a lot of work, and plus there is also the small risk that you pay their fees, service charges, and then he refuses to transfer. So he wants to sell, great. You are ready to buy, but the NOC and the fees must be paid by him, ideally, yeah. And then a power of attorney. On occasions, we get clients, they have this 30 days or 60 days deadline, and guess what? Christmas comes, yes? So Christmas comes, they need to go, or something happens in their family, and they won't be able to go on the date of transfer. So sometimes we draft the power of attorney, not necessarily to us, but to a family or a family member or a friend who will go and will complete the transfer. In those cases, we are asked to go just because someone who doesn't know how the process works is going, and what if something is done wrongly. So power of attorney is usually done to someone else, or sometimes it's done to us. So we go, we take the checks from buyer and we deliver them, and we don't leave the trustee office until we get the title deed. Yes, that's the role of whoever goes. Now, what if you are buying through a company? Yes, or selling through a company. If you're selling through a company, you will still need to provide the NOC from the developer that we discussed, the power of attorney. In this case, it's more important because unless the general manager going and the general manager has powers under the MOA to buy properties, you will need to do in any event a power of attorney. Yeah. Then you will need to translate all the documents if they come from a free zone into Arabic, or if they come from abroad into Arabic. In that case, it will need to be legalized as well. Yes, all the company's documents. Yes. Also, you will need to prepare a certificate of incumbency. A certificate of incumbency is a document that says, but the company is valid as of today, that is up and running, and is in compliance with all their obligations. Yes. Also, very important is that when companies buy, they sign an undertaking letter saying that they will report any change in ownership. Why? Imagine you buy a property in Dubai through a company, and then you sell the company. So what are you avoiding? The 4%. The 4% that we were talking about here. The 4% transfer fee to the Dubai Land Department. So to avoid this, because this was common back in the days, in 2011, they limited the companies that could buy property in Dubai. So they limited to those 3 zones that had agreements with the Dubai Land Department. Nowadays, this is more flexible, but this is more flexible, but it still has limitations. It still has limitations. So if you want to set up a company for organizational purposes, for Sharia avoidance purposes, we do recommend that you check with the Dubai Land Department or with experts whether that jurisdiction that you are considering will allow you to hold real estate in Dubai. It's very important to know as well that you will need to register the company. This is what I say in bullet number 1, company's registration. And this will bear a time because you need to register the company with the Dubai Land Department. And I think it has a cost of 2,000 if it's a Dubai-based company, or 4,000 if it's a foreign company. Yes, usually foreign companies are usually accepted, but they don't like jurisdictions that are not very transparent. Yes, so that's the situation. I recommend, because these things change overnight. These days, I always recommend to verify with the Dubai Land Department before starting the setup of the company. Very important. And we've seen a lot of information. Now I'm very happy to address questions from all of you.
No questions?
No questions? Well, it's okay. I don't have, I'm happy to share the presentation. I mean, it's gonna be on
yes, we have Maria.
YouTube in any event. So
we have questions now. Sorry, they've entered now.
Okay.
The first question is, hi, do you have any recommendation for a safe way to transfer money from another country?
I mean, you say that you want to buy a property and you need to send money to the UAE?
I believe that she wants to say this. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would need to know, how are you intending? I mean, do you have a bank account in the UAE?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes,
you have a bank account in the UAE. I mean, there are so many questions to consider, because which currency are you going to be transferring? I think what I am aware is that local banks are very expensive when you do the currency conversion. Are very, very expensive. I mean, if you transfer dollars, it shouldn't be an issue because it's fixed. Yeah, but if you're going to transfer any other currency, I think you're going to lose loads of money if you transfer in the UAE.
She's saying that I would like to buy a property with my father, 50-50%. He needs to transfer his part from Colombia.
So you will transfer US dollars probably, right? Or pesos?
Pesos.
Wow, no idea, to be honest. But I would check. I heard people transferring lately that there is one bank. I don't know if the bank is available in Colombia, but there is a bank called Revolut. And I think there is one membership. You pay by membership. If you get the highest membership, you get 0% commission transfer. So I know people that do transfer to make their purchases when they start their life in the UAE, and they have spoken to me about this possibility. Check it out, because if you won't be able to transfer pesos to the UAE. You would need to transfer your pesos to an USD account or to or to a dirham account, right? Because you are not able to open a pesos account in the UAE. So I would take a look to this possibility of the 0% commission with this bank. But you need to check if Colombia has this bank, because, for example, the UAE doesn't have this bank.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Another question is, do you have to pay a fee to obtain the NOC from the developer? If yes, how much?
Oh, it depends. And actually, good question, because I wanted to tell you that the NOC from developers, sometimes they take, sometimes they give you in 24 hours, and sometimes they take 2 weeks. So this is also important when we think about the timings. Depends. The developers vary, and they all of them, they charge. I've seen developers charge 10,000, 5,000, 15,000. I've seen developers charge 1% on the purchase price. So.
Okay, thank you. And another question, is it a good moment to acquire a property in Dubai, considering the potential market fluctuations for investment purpose?
Eduardo, thank you. We are not so much on the commercial side of the acquisitions. I mean, what we do is, you want to buy a property, you need help. We do the due diligence. We do powers of attorney if you need something. We prepare the documents from the companies. So this is the legal side of what we do. We don't. I mean, we are not financial advisors. Yes. I've been in the UAE for 15 years. Yes. I think prices are very high, but who knows? Maybe they will continue going up. I think that they always, and I think that they will continue coming up with reasons. I mean, now in 2026, we are going to have the first casino in the region open in Ras Al Khaimah, but Atlantis, Caesar's Palace, Burj Al Arab, they already have casinos ready. So why are they not opening before Ras Al Khaimah? Well, it is said that Dubai cannot take more people at the moment. So I think that after 2026, casinos will open in Dubai, and that will be another boom. So is it too high to buy? I don't know. If I knew, probably I wouldn't be giving this webinar. I would be laying down in some in the Caribbean or somewhere. Yes. So I don't know, but we concentrate on. I know there are people that do that. You know, they will tell you, you know, this is where you will get a greater return. You know, buy in this area, buy the smallest that you can, or buy the most expensive. Because I think, from what I hear from experts, that the market, the real value is either you buy very cheap and you rent very small, or you really go high end. And those are the two angles that tend to give the greater returns. Yes. Then I can tell you, I am an arbitrator. I've seen the values going up. I've seen I've seen the litigations. I know how developers are. I know who pays. I know who will even pay you legal fees when you sue them. And then I also know the developers that will not listen to you, that will pass the ball. Oh no, you spoke to that guy? Oh, he left the company. So, well, go find him. He told you that, go find him. And there are developers that are like this as well. So I would never recommend someone buying from those developers, you know, because you need to buy from a serious developer in terms of legal perspective. You don't know what could happen, but you want someone who will respond to your problems. Yes.
Okay, next question. Hi, Maria. Thanks for the presentation. Alex here from Asturias. I was wondering if it's possible to buy a property with Bitcoin or other cryptos such as Ethereum and do the scroll through blockchain.
I know that Dubai, as part of its marketing, they do pitch a lot crypto. They do preach a lot crypto. You can open companies to do crypto. They do have now an authority, VARA, where you must register and they oversee the crypto market and crypto activities. But I am unsure. I mean, maybe the developer will accept Bitcoin. Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe you buy from someone that will accept Bitcoin or whatever crypto or whatever cryptocurrency that you may be using. But there is not a formal way, legally speaking, to buy through crypto in the UAE. I think that they have set the seeds because they know that they try to be with the future, and I think the world goes that way. But in practice, legally, you can set up a company, but in practice, I think there is still loads of things to be done in that respect. So if you buy from a developer, ask them if they have that possibility, or if you buy from the market, ask the seller if he will be happy to sell you in crypto. Yeah.
Okay, another question is, which advice would you give to a person interested in purchasing a first asset property in the UAE, Dubai or Abu Dhabi as an investment, considering I am a European with a valid IT?
What advice? Well, the advice that I gave, the due diligence, then I think there are many questions to be asked, you know. What is your budget? I'm aware that cash purchase to buy property allows an overseas citizen. How does one get lump sum of cash into UAE? I don't think you can bring more than 10,000 euros on your pocket. Will this come under? I mean, every real estate agencies fall under the AML, so they will have to do a review of who you are and where your funds are coming from. Yes, they do ask questions. So, but if you want to bring money in your pockets, I think that you can only bring 10,000 if you come from, I think you said you are European? I'm European. So I think the UAE is a bit more flexible, but it's limiting a lot cash transactions. So I wouldn't come with 10. I don't have any report from clients who had an issue bringing 100,000 dirhams, but I know in Europe it's 10,000 euros per person. So that will be your situation. I don't really know how to bring. I mean, we do fall under AML, so we do ask for all the KYC documents. So I don't know how to bring 100,000, to be honest. And first, to be able to help you, we would need to know who you are, how you got that money, in order to further assist. But in any event, I've never come across this issue. Of course, in Dubai, there are stories that they tell you that people come into the airport with bags of money. I've never seen it. You know, I've never seen it. So.
Okay. Thank you, Maria. Another question. I am aware that cross transactions or cash purchase to buy.
Yeah, I think this is the one now. I think it's next.
Okay, sorry. What is the minimum requirement for a buyer before she can flip the property, both of plan and completed sites? What should one be aware of before flipping both of on the buying and selling side? Time frame.
I mean, from the selling side, it's very simple because you are not going to give title until you get a manager's check. That's how it works. So on the selling side, hey, you don't care. You know, you go to the transfer, you get your manager check, halas, as we say here, done. Now, if you are buying, you need to review the slides about due diligence, because you don't want to buy from the wrong person. And believe me, I've been part of issues where a seller had rented the property 11 times. It was a house, it was a villa on the Palm. So if you, back then, prices were not very high, so were 500,000, but 500,000 times 11, not bad, huh? Not bad. So you do want to do a little due diligence to mitigate.
Another one, another question. You mentioned owning real estate under a company. Do you know if a villa or apartment is looked at differently? So it is possible to own an apartment under a company?
You can own anything under a company. Land as well. Imagine when we have assisted construction companies. Yes. So the land usually is put under a company. Why? Because not a single person owns that land. Usually there are transactions whereby we own the land, we are going to do this, we are going to do that, we are going to do that. So there is a holding company that is set for that particular project and to organize the affairs of the terms agreed. You can put anything into a company. It's safe. Nowadays, it was always the case, the recommendation, always the recommendation. Why? Because of Sharia. Yeah. Something happened to you and you own an apartment, a villa, a land, whatever, under your name, that will fall into Sharia. So it wouldn't matter what your will would say. So holding companies were being done for these purposes more than anything. Now, as of February 2023, the law has changed. And now, apparently, they allow non-Muslims to free testamentary freedom, let's say. Yes, and I say apparently because I still don't know. Why I don't know? Because there are no court cases. There are no court cases deciding on a will saying, I have this flat, this flat, this flat. I want to give it to my son, my daughter, and whoever, and the court accepts. I will be able to recommend putting it on personal name when that happens. What I can recommend is if the asset is not put under a company, that if you own a property, that you do a DIFC will. Because DIFC wills give full testamentary freedom and are fully respected by UAE authorities. So that would be the alternative to putting the property under a company. I think Gabi, now we have Gabi. An owner bought a property and wants to sell it, but he's not a resident and doesn't have a bank account. What do you recommend for him to do? He went to some banks, but he couldn't. He's from Mexico. Here is not easy for Mexican to get one. Is the property sold? No, you can go to a conveyancing company. Very easy, but only a conveyancing company. Yes? If you text me, I'll be able to give you the details of one. So conveyancing companies, this owner will need to do a power of attorney to this conveyancing company, allowing them to get the check on their name. Yes? And then they will transfer to whomever. I'm sure they will do a KYC on the money, where he got the money to buy this property, etc. But this is only possible through conveyancing companies, and nowadays there are not many because they do limit for security purposes, and AML purposes. They do limit the licenses that they give. But Gabi, if you send me an email, I can put you. I have a couple of details from conveyancing companies.
Okay. Thank you, Maria. Another question. Is it advisable to purchase real estate as an individual or as a company? Which is more advantageous and why?
Yeah, this is what we were mentioning. I would perhaps add that with the new law and the possibility to do a DIFC will, perhaps under personal name may be easier. Why? Because of the new corporate tax. Corporate tax is gonna, if your sole purpose to have a company is to own real estate. Well, sometimes clients tell you, well, I'm American, I need to have a company. Well, first go to an American advisor, then I will do what they say. But if your only purpose is to have a company, you need to think about all the obligations that that company is going to have. Because you will need to be filing, you will need to, if you are going to rent, you will need to be charging VAT. Then you will need to be filing for VAT. Then if you will probably be needing to pay corporate tax. When if you have it under your personal name and you do a will, you perhaps don't have that issue. Yeah. So there is no straightforward answer because many clients have different circumstances, you know. So and one thing is the legalities, the protection, especially I'm telling you about the wills or Sharia, and another thing is tax considerations, which I think that nowadays in the UAE must be taken into account because things are changing. If someone doesn't have an Emirates ID, can also buy a property in Dubai? Yes, that's allowed. Yes. The problem will be to open a bank account later, but you can own a property. And most banks before, they were allowing you to have a bank account if you had a property. Why? Because they understood that you needed to pay DIWA, you needed to pay, you also needed to encash checks, you were gonna rent them, for example. But it's becoming very difficult nowadays. It's possible, but very difficult without an Emirates ID. But hey, if you buy a property in Dubai, keep that in mind, and the property is more than 750,000, you can get a 2-year visa. If the property is over 2 million, you can get a golden visa, 10 years. So you buy the property and you can get the Emirates ID. So.
Okay. She's asking 2 million of dirham.
Yeah, 2 million dirham will give you the possibility to apply for golden visa. 10 years visa, which is very good.
Follow up to the last question. So if under individual name is rental income tax-free, no VAT, even if the rental income is more than 375,000 dirham?
Follow up that one. So if under individual name is rental income, yeah, it's tax-free. Tax-free. But this you want to talk to a tax advisor. My understanding, because I have a YouTube channel and I do have to sometimes study certain questions. I'm not a tax advisor. My understanding is that it will be on personal name. No, there is no income tax, personal income tax in the UAE as of today. Maybe in 5 years we will have it, but as of today, there is no personal income tax. That's why I'm saying not only about the tax, but also the fact of having a company, you're going to have to have accounting done. It's federal obligations to have your accounting properly done. You have to do VAT filings. You need to do corporate tax filings. This is going to cost money. So if it's the only reason, without just looking at the general conditions, I would put it on personal. But I would do a will, yes. The IFC to avoid Sharia complications.
Okay, another one is I buy a property as a UAE citizen, but with residence in UAE to let, and for some reason I have to leave the country, and my idea is to keep the property in Dubai to get the rental income. Can I keep the bank account if I'm not a resident in the UAE?
I mean, what do you mean by residency? By residency, I mean that you have an Emirates ID. Yeah? So if you have an Emirates ID, you can have your bank account. The problem is if you lose your Emirates ID, when the expiry shows in the bank is going to tell you, hey, I need your new visa, I need your new Emirates ID. and they will probably block your accounts. Yeah. So if you have an Emirates ID, you can have you shouldn't have any issues with your banks.
Okay,
Can you
another
get a
one is
mortgage if you are not a resident? Yes, apparently they give mortgages up to 50% for non-residents. And I say apparently because banks are difficult these days, and mortgages are very expensive. So I'm sure they are happy to look into your profile because it's good business for them now.
Okay, Maria, I think we are done for today. Thank you so much for your webinar, your explanation. The video will be uploaded in our YouTube channel. So as much as the people wants to check and revise some information, it will be there. And thank you so much, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Marta. Thank you, SBC, for your platform, for your support always. If anyone has any questions, I have here on my last slide, which probably will be uploaded as well, my contact details. Please feel free. We don't charge for general information. So any general questions, please feel free, and if the general question is very interesting, I will even make a video in your honor. So shoot us general questions. We are always happy to address.
Okay, if someone needs the contact, I can share it also. Okay.
Anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy
Bye.
holidays, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.